In a world where content is king and people want to earn the next dollar, I think we're wasting a lot of time. I think focus is skewed in the wrong direction. But even in clarity, we are still wasting a lot of time. I spent the weekend 2 hours away from my home, alone, wasting a lot of time. But enjoying my time, nonetheless, but wasting a lot of time. What I mean by wasting a lot of time is that I am now still driving home. I'm about halfway there-ish. And I just decided to hit record on my phone to create content. I could have just sat here and listened to other people's content. I've been sitting listening to the Gary Vaynerchuk podcast, thinking to myself, how can I create content? Content is king. Getting content out there is important. But I'm not doing it. I'm wasting time. I'm sitting in my car, focusing on the road, and having a conversation with you. And at this point, I'm not even sure if I'm going to post this as a podcast, if I'm going to transcribe it and have it as a blog. At this point, it doesn't matter. The content is being created. I have no notes. I would be distracted driving. I'm using the Bluetooth setting on my phone and my car so I can have two hands on the wheel and just talk. Step one of creation. Just to get the idea out there. Maybe that's step two. Step one is have the idea pop in your head. And step two is get the idea out of your head and into some sort of consumable content, some sort of consumable format. So if you've got a business selling flowers, and as you're delivering flowers, you hit record and say, hey, listen, I have a customer who ordered a fantastic set of, they're not even a set, are they? A dozen roses for their 20th wedding anniversary for their wife. There's your story. There's your content. How did the order happen? Which flowers did they actually choose? Why did they choose those flowers? Why did you suggest a certain type of flower over what they actually called in on? You have 10 to 15 minutes to get those flowers to the customer. Why not talk about it? There's nobody else in the car with me. My dog's in the back seat. He's not really listening. But there is the opportunity for somebody else to listen if you create the content. You're driving down to the Calgary Stampeders game from Airdrie. Do your pre-game story and then post it as a podcast. It takes 40 minutes, half an hour to get down to McMahon Stadium from Airdrie. Talk for 15 minutes and submit it on Anchor. That way, those who have access to your podcast and are heading to the Stampeders game, you've built that following, or you want to build that following, You can't build a following if the content is not there. There is so much access. There is so much access not only to other content, but means to produce and distribute content right now. The only stumbling block is creating the content. Is finding time to create the content. Find a free transcriber. Text to voice. And while you're in the washroom, just start talking. And create that content. Nobody needs to know where you created it. But at the end of the day, it's either created or it's not. The time is wasted or it's not. If you own a business in Airdrie, if you own a business in the surrounding area, if you own a business in Alberta, if you own a business anywhere, here's the kicker. I originally created this to talk to those people in Airdrie and surrounding areas. Create the content to get the customers. Create the content to get the awareness. So if you came to this content from an outside source that isn't Airdrie or surrounding area, that's a win. If you're still listening to this and you're in Pennsylvania and nobody else in your center is creating the content, create the content and win. And it's simple. It's easy. Content creation in today's world is so much easier than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's easier than it was 5 years ago. The hardest part is getting over the mental stumble of, I don't want people to hear my voice. I don't want to get this wrong. I'm worried, insert blank here. Do not predetermine the success of your content. Predetermine that you will create the content and share it with the world. If you are sitting waiting for customers to come to you, give them a reason. Outside of your brick and mortar, your storefront, your website, you do online sales, give them a reason. What's your favorite product at your store? What's your favorite service you provide? Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. Because if it isn't, it's not there. People can't listen to content that is not created. Period. So stop wasting time. People are spending their money somewhere else because something caught their eye, something caught their ear. They trust somewhere else because you didn't give them a reason to trust you. You didn't give them a reason to contact you. You did not start the conversation. A Facebook post is creating content. Posting "we have a sale" is creating content. But you can do better than that. You can have a conversation, like I'm having a conversation with you. I don't know who you are. I would love to know that you've gotten to this point of whatever this ends up being, and letting me know, Rob, I enjoyed your content. What else do you have? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. Start the conversation. Stop wasting time. Start creating that content.